I love seeing everybody up on stage, celebrating them, what they've accomplished. But what really, and although that's motivating, what really inspires me, I know but not everybody got the torch. What really inspires me is what we accomplished together. What made this possible, what made this night possible, was what we did together. We grew by 130% while the rest of the industry was retracting last year. We did 22,514 installs. There are 13 people here that earned over $1 million last year. We spit out 13 millionaires, several others that were close. We had 47 people earn over 500K. We had 212 people earn $250,000 or more last year. Remember what I said, what was our first event 2.5 years ago? How many people were in the building? We had 212 people make $250,000 last year. Dude, where have you ever seen anything like that? And now 2025, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the future. It's not over yet, we're not done. The industry is gonna continue to consolidate. We will continue to absorb teams and groups and several big orgs. You guys will continue to benefit from the growth. We will have 50 people make over $1 million next year. Mark my words, 50 people. It's a massive goal for us. And we'll install 50,000 accounts this next year. Let's go, 50,000 accounts. Now, just for a second, internalize all of that. Seeing all those goals. Be present with yourself. What are the things you're saying to yourself when you see everybody up on stage? When you see everything we're shooting for? Perhaps there's a little bit of regret on things you woulda, shoulda, coulda done last year to be up here yourself. Or maybe you're saying, good for them, and there's a hint of jealousy there. Or maybe you're thinking, that's gonna be me next year. I'm gonna be up on that stage. And you're asking yourself, what do I need to focus on this next year if I want to be up there? Or what are the standards and expectations I need to hold myself to if I want to achieve those results? And that's what it's all about, that one word right there, expectations. I believe that in this room, people hold themselves to a higher standard, higher expectations than anywhere else in the industry. We ask more of ourselves than the average person does. That's what makes us pros. That's what separates us. That's what has allowed us to grow by 50%, 100%, or 130% year over year. Specifically, the expectations we have for ourselves in 3 key areas. The first one, I'd say, is work ethic. I don't think anybody works harder than the pros. Nobody competes harder than the pros. Every week I'm on that show, I'm looking at what you guys do, how far you push yourselves. Nobody goes as hard as us. We understand extraordinary results require extraordinary action. Nothing grows without work except weeds. We know this. So what are the actions? Maybe you're sitting here and you're saying, okay, I think I have good work ethic. I think I'm good, but maybe I'm not at that level yet. I need to grow my work ethic. I need to deepen that. I need to strengthen that muscle. What are the things you've got to do to grow your work ethic? The first thing, in my opinion, is you must always move forward at all times. If Josh Holland was up here the other day and he was saying, hey, what's your life philosophy? Anybody who was here at the training? He asked, what's your life philosophy? You got to develop it. This has been my life philosophy for as long as I can remember. In fact, if you go to my Instagram, you look, it says always press forward right below my name. No matter what. On my best day, I just crushed it. What am I going to do? I'm going to get up again. I'm going to do it again and again and again, and I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not taking a break. On my worst day, I just got my teeth kicked in. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to get up and you're going to do it again, and you're going to keep pressing forward. You've got delays, install delays, or other people's attitude, people around you quitting and giving up. You must get up and keep moving forward. Pull as many of people as you can with you. Whoever's willing, get them on that page, keep them moving forward. But you must move forward if you're going to develop your work ethic. Next is, I think you must control what you can control. So what can you control? What can you control? Can you control the weather? I know we got some conspiracy theorists in here. Jay Merrifield saying, cloud seeding, look it up, it's real. but you, yourself, cannot control the weather. You can't control the weather. The first person you have to lead every day is yourself. You can't control other people. You can't control the finance rates. You can't control the marketplace. You can't control the challenges you're going to be faced with every day. You can't control what other people are going to do to you. But you can decide what you're going to bring to the table every day, how you're going to confront those things, how consistently you're going to show up. You can decide what version of yourself is going to be involved in those altercations. You have to control yourself. Focus on just that. Next, you must narrow your focus and go to work. And I love this because everybody says, oh, just put your head down and go to work. No, I disagree. Narrow your focus and go to work. They say millionaires have 7 income streams. So they didn't become millionaires with 7 jobs. They had one job that they did better than anyone else. You simplify to amplify. Think about freedom. What does Freedom do? Freedom's the largest installer in the world. Do they do air conditioning? They do turf? They do LED lighting? No. They do residential installations, and they want to get 50% market share, and they're dominating because they have one simple focus. How about pros? What do? We win. We win. I like that. Do we have a crazy retail program? Are we focused hardcore on this other thing? Are we focused on selling other products? Are we focused on an online killer platform we can do? No, what do? What's our meat and potatoes? We're a meat and potatoes company. We knock doors. We are the best, we are the largest face-to-face solar sales engine in the world because we do one thing and we do it better than any freaking person out there, door to door. You have to simplify to amplify. Then you've got to resign to the fact that whatever you're going to do, you're not going to do it for a day, you're not going to do it for a week. You have to make this up in your mind. You're going to do it for a decade. People overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a decade. You have to sign up for it today. You have to decide, whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing it for a day, a week, or a month. I'm going to do this for the next 10 years. This is going to be my career. I'm planting my feet 10 toes down, and I'm moving forward. Think about it as a company. What do we how about us? Do we do big weekly checks here? I don't give a damn what you make in a week. That's not my focus. I want to build the best machine that helps you make as much as possible in a year, in 5 years, and in 10 years, in 20 years. That's our focus. How about do we have a culture of I know we're giving away a Porsche, but do we have a culture of hey, let's all get sports cars and show up to the office and flex on social media? Is that something you see solar pros bragging about? No. That's not long term. That's short term, instant gratification. How about the shoe game? I know a bunch of you are wearing these Air Jordan 1s, but I got something to tell you. 90% of the people wearing those Travis Scotts or whatever you call them, they're fake. They're from China. So I hate to call you out. And that's awesome. That is so cool. I actually heard from another leader in the industry, they were like, oh, dude, every time I see these kids with these $2,000 shoes on, it hurts my stomach. I get sick to my stomach. He says, because that's not a $2,000 pair of shoes that this 22-year-old's wearing. That's a $50,000 pair of shoes. Because by the time he's 45, if he would have invested that and done the smart things that's $50,000 on his feet. And if he's making that decision over and over and over and it's compounding, dude, he's missing out on millions. That's why we don't care about that stuff. We are in this for the long haul. We're in this for the decade. We're in this for the next 20 years. If you want to have good work ethic, you've got to resign yourself to the fact that you're going to be doing this for the next 10 years, at least. Now, when you're doing all this stuff, and you're doing things for the right reasons, and you start getting results, because I promise you, it sounds boring, all of these things. This doesn't sound cool, but you will get results from it. What's going to happen? People doing less than you are going to start talking bad about you. People are going to hate on you, especially because they're the ones doing this instant gratification stuff, the young and fast and whatever. And now they're insecure because you're showing them like, hey, I'm doing it a different way and I'm getting the results. And now they have to explain it away by talking bad about you. So you must ignore the haters. Screw them. Like, it only comes from the cheap seats. It only comes from people talking bad about you. And I get this question a lot. They're always like, what are you going to do? Like, so-and-so said this. So-and-so said this about you. So-and-so posted that. I'm not going to do a damn thing. Why would I put any energy into that? Why do I care what somebody else is saying to me? When I was younger, one of my mentors growing up, he's named Gordon Baller Hinckley. Say an amen if you know who that is. Dude was a baller. But he said something that stuck with me as a kid. He said, cynics do not contribute, skeptics do not create, and doubters do not achieve. Haters are cynics, skeptics, and doubters. That's the definition right there. And why the hell would I spend my energy, my mental energy or my mental calories debating with somebody who's not a contributor, who's not a creator, and who's not an achiever? I don't have time for that. I'm gonna put all of my energy into my circle, surrounded by creators, surrounded by contributors, surrounded by achievers. That's how I'm gonna win. Now, one of the things that happened in my life that like compounded all of these principles in me, or that reinforced these principles in me, was I worked for a company called Dish One. And before that, I used to own my own retailer. I was selling satellite TV. I owned the second largest satellite dealer in the nation. And we came to a crossroads. There was consolidation in satellite back then, just like there is today in solar. And I was left with a choice where DirecTV was saying, hey, come work for us and we'll give you a bunch of money. You'll pay you way more on your accounts. It was this huge deal. And they said, you know, like, you'll still run your company. It'll all be the same. They introduced me to their CEO. They put this whole thing together. And I asked them a few questions. I was like, well, what are you going to do about, you know, like people being able to use fake names or fake credit cards and all the kind of like shady stuff that people were doing? And what's the plan with your AT&T and this is TV? Like, what's the plan? They didn't have answers for all these things. And the things that they were allowing to happen in their business are not 10-year things. Fraud doesn't last. Shortcuts don't last. And I'm thinking, I want to do this. This is my career. I'm in this for 10 years. So that's a problem. So it looks good on paper. I'll make a ton of money. But like, what am I going to do in 5 years? Go get a new job and start over fresh because everything crumbles under these like broken rules? No, like, so I go and I check with Dish Network. Dish Network says, hey, we don't allow fake credit cards. We don't allow fake names. We've got systems in place to stop this from happening. We're going to support you in that. And we want you to support us in that. We're going to do it the right way, and we're going to build the largest satellite sales force, and we're going to, you know, make a difference in the industry. I said, I love that. But it came with like this caveat. It's like, but you don't get to be CEO anymore. And I basically, you know, I had to check my ego. I was running my own company. I was competitive as hell. And they were like, you're not in charge anymore. You're going to be a VP. We're going to give you equity, and you can run this company and grow it and be part of one of the partners in the business. So that's not a bad thing though, right? Like being in a room with people who are, you know, better than you or smarter than you or just as good as you, and you're not in control. That actually is like a growing opportunity. So I could talk myself through that. I decided to go forward. I signed on with Dish One, and right as I did that, my wife files for divorce. She empties our bank account. We had $1 million in the bank account. She emptied it, opened up a new account with just her name on it. Sort of illegal. And she goes for sole custody. And she serves me. I wake up one morning, I hadn't even showered yet, and there's a police officer at the door serving me a restraining order to kick me out of the house, which I'm like, excuse me? Like, I didn't even know I was getting a divorce until the restraining order was served and I was kicked out of the house. I was like, and so I literally begged this police officer at the time. I was like, please, I need clothes. I don't have anything. I haven't even showered today. And so her mom like stood over me and looked down at me and lecturing me while I packed my clothes. It was like humiliating. And I went from having it all to being homeless again. I'm a single parent. I've got my kid. You know, where am I going to put him? I have no home. My bank account's empty. I've got a $2,000 credit card I've had since I was a kid that I never use, and a bank account, a credit union bank account with like $2,000 in it. That I'm like, you know, it's not nothing. I'm basically like up, you know what, creek without a paddle. And anyways, that's going on. Then on top of that, all of the people, she starts spreading rumors about me, and all of the people that I'm working with, that I had poured my heart into, that I love, that I'd helped them build their business, there's certain people who start to see it as an opportunity to take advantage of me while I'm down in this hole. And they try to take people and go to other companies or go start their own company. And so I'm dealing with that. And then day 5 at Dish One of my partners, another VP, says, hey, come in my office, I want to talk to you. And he sits me down. He says, hey, you know, Mike likes you right now. Mike's the CEO of Dish One. And he's like, Mike likes you right now. You know, but Mike gets distracted. He's going to be like, look, a butterfly. Word for word, that's what he said. He said, look, a butterfly. I'm like listening to this conversation. Who says that? He's going to look, a butterfly. And he's going to forget all about you. And he's going to move on to the next big thing. I'm the one that runs this company. Every decision made runs through me. You report to me. And that's how it's going to go. Basically threatening me. Day 5, I think this is my partner. And I'm like, sitting in his office, I'm like, okay. I walk out of there, I'm going, what the hell did I just sign up for? Like, I went from like CEO to like trusting this situation. I'm getting slapped around everywhere. And then to top it all off, like fast forward a couple months, the pay scales they had there were kind of broken. And so a lot of my people weren't making money. I had to rewrite all the pay scales and introduce a new pay scale. I met with tons of resistance from this other individual who just like, he's actually telling regionals and managers that I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm an idiot, and trying to like tear me down. Only the people that like trusted me and, you know, like were in my network actually took those new pay scales. They ended up making more than everybody else. The whole pay scales, all the pay scales in the company ended up changing over to what I had written and what I had built. But initially I'm going through all this like backlash, and I go to this event before these pay scales are reintroduced, and Josh Honey, who's in the building somewhere out here, he pulls me aside. I'm working with the guys trying to get momentum, and he goes, look, man, when we came over to Dish One, I had $200,000 in my bank account. Today I'm down to $25,000 in my bank account. He's like, I love you, bro. Everything I have is because of you. I'll follow you anywhere, but I got to make money. And that's weighing on my heart, heavy. And I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And so, of course, when you're in this situation, the odds are stacked against you, what do? You vent, right? Poor me. What am I going through? I'm still working towards it, trying to fix it and everything. And I'm venting to one of my colleagues, and she says, look, and she agreed with me. She was on the same page. She was like, I agree with everything you're saying, but look, none of that stuff matters. None of it. All that matters is production. All that matters is what you put on the board at the end of the day. So go out there and go do what you've been doing. Go produce. You were the second largest dealer in the nation. Go show us why. And it was like, I felt stupid. I was like, why am I complaining? Like, she's right. And that's what I did. I went out on the road and I started grinding. I started getting on the doors, closing customers. I looked really, really dumb, but no beard. My wife says a beard's like the pull-up bra, push-up bra for men. I don't know. So, anyways, I get out there with the guys. Some of these guys are here in the building today. I get my customers to dab. Of course, I'm having fun with it, right? Just like I was out there knocking doors full time again. Late night, of course. And of course, oh my gosh, Tabasco. Oh! When you're on the grind with the boys, that's only Super Troopers at door knocking is where you see stuff like that. A full Coke can of freaking Tabasco sauce. Cody Vahey, he held it down for like 15 minutes and then he went and puked his guts out. But if Tabasco doesn't mess you up, there's something wrong with you, like physically wrong with you. And then, I'm a single parent, and I think school is important, but I think an education is more valuable. And so I believe in this thing called work-life integration. I want to get my kids involved in what I'm doing and show them, like, hey, this is what Dad does every day. And I try to involve them and get them on the same mission that I'm on. And so I go out there one day with Chris, and we got 10 deals that day. We ran door to door, the full thing, no breaks. We took a freaking protein bar in our pocket. I wanted to have the full experience. He's like 11 or 12 years old. And of course, what? What are you doing? No bathroom breaks. No bathroom breaks. Love you, bro. No, but once I stopped focusing on all the crap, I finished that year with 7,000 accounts. I had dropped. That's not good. I was down over 50%. But the following year, doing things the right way, I had to rebound. I finished with over 15,000 accounts. I did more than I did the year before in my dealer. I ignored the haters. I kept moving forward. I did what I was supposed to do. And I worked for the people around me. That takes us to the second thing if we want to grow, or with the expectation we have for ourselves. We expect ourselves to serve and elevate other people here more unlike any other place I've ever been. Give everything for the people around you. At our last manager meeting, I called somebody up and I said, hey, I'll give you $500 if somebody can recite the mission statement. And somebody got by 70% of it. I still gave him the money, but he didn't know it. So I want to read that with you here today. We serve, read it with me. We serve and elevate individuals who multiply that value in others, resulting in growth and transformation. One more time, just the beginning. We serve and elevate individuals who multiply that value in others. We help people who help and lift other people, who help and lift other people, who help and lift other people, who help and lift other people. Do you understand how powerful that is? That's how one man changes his family or his future generations. That's how one man changes his community. That's how one man changes the world. This has nothing to do with solar, and this has everything to do with a philosophy on life, a way of living life. I was at the UFC fight last week with Max Robinson, some of the Meraki boys, Amin Fafita, I don't know if he's here. And we went to get food, and he was like, hey, I want to buy you food. And, I'm okay, you want to serve me? I'm going to let you serve me. That's great, And so we're getting food, and he goes, hey, I want to ask you, how has Solar Pro's been able to grow so fast? What is it? Is it the Freedom Platform? Because you can sell anywhere and you can grow and, do things. It's one system and everything. And I was like, or is it something else? And I was like, look, I don't want to take anything away from Freedom. We have the right partner. They're doing it the right way. It is valuable to have 38 states. It is valuable to have one system, one platform, one way of doing things. 100%. Brett's vision is unsurpassed. But that's not why we're growing. There's several other people who've used Freedom or are currently using Freedom and aren't doing what we're doing. The key to what we're doing is serve and elevate. It's what's allowed us to grow. It's the fact that we show up every day and we don't ask what's in it for us. We ask what we can do for the person to the left and to the right of us. That one thing. Does anybody know what this is? It's an arch, right? What's that stone right in the middle? Keystone. I love it. Look at you guys. Serve and elevate is the keystone of our company. Without it, everything falls apart. Everything. Let me explain why. What are the biggest roadblocks you have in life? What are the biggest roadblocks you have? Remember, what is the only thing you can control? Yourself, right? Okay. So if yourself is the only thing you can control, then the biggest roadblocks, where are they? Are they external? They're within, right? What are the biggest roadblocks? Fear. How many people have been afraid? I've felt that. Anger. And depression. Here's what's crazy about all three of these things. All of them are rooted in selfishness. 100%. You have an expectation of things you want. Somebody's going to act a certain way, do a certain thing. It doesn't happen, doesn't work out the way you thought. You're thinking about it, you're upset, you get depressed. You have an expectation of something you want, something you're going to get, the way something's going to go. It doesn't go the way you want it to. You get angry. You try and get more control by being angry, being tough. Or you're thinking like, I'm not enough. What are they going to think about me? What about this? Like, what if I fail? What if that happens? What if I? Now you're afraid and you're in scarcity and you're not doing the right things to grow. The cure to fear, anger, and depression is to serve and elevate people around you. To stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about other people. Puts gratitude in your heart. That's why we focus on it, because we are trying to help each other get rid of the biggest roadblocks in our lives for growth and success and joy and fulfillment, the things we all want at the end of the day. Let's break down serve. Serving is the first step to all growth. Growth doesn't happen if you don't serve first. You got to give to get. You've heard all these phrases, right? This is why this matters. Serving is the first step to all growth. Contribution precedes achievement. If you want your family to grow, you have to serve it first. If you want your relationships to grow, you have to serve it first. Serve them first. If you want your business to grow, you got to serve it. You want people to grow, you got to serve them. It all comes down to serving. If you want yourself to grow, you have to serve the moment and put the time in the training, put the time in on the doors. This is all about you giving up on like whatever you want in the moment to serve and serve the opportunity. That's it. Everything starts with service. Elevate. Is it possible to serve without elevating? Is it? Yeah. Can you go to a homeless shelter with a little ice cream scooper and drop food on somebody's plate so they see you? Is that elevating, or is that just, yes, you served them? Is it possible as a manager to run your office and set it up every day, set up the chairs, put together a correlation, maybe draw out some area, and then go out and get yours? You served your office that day, but did you elevate anybody? The key to elevating is to forget yourself. I got another quote from my mentor, Gordon Baller Hinckley. He said, forget yourself and go to work. I'm going to tell you the story about this. Gordon B. Hinckley was out there serving a mission for his church. And it's tough. He's away from family. It's difficult work. He's missing everybody. He's getting rejection. He's learning all these new things. And so he's feeling sorry for himself. He writes a letter to his dad. He says, Dad, I don't know if I can do this. What do I do? It sucks. I just want to be home. He's complaining to his dad. And his dad writes back and says, forget yourself and go to work. Why would he say that? Isn't that like a lack of empathy? Is that what they tell us to do today? They tell you, empathize with your child, make him feel better, give him a hug. That's pretty harsh. You just forget yourself, kid, and go to work. Why would he do that? How about this? Have you ever had a mom, you're working in an office? I've had this happen. You've got a kid in your office who's struggling, it's the first year, and he's like complaining, he calls mom. Oh, honey, just come home. You don't have to do that. I'll pay for it. You just focus on school. We don't want you to do door to door. Who's had that happen? Come on, don't be shy. Like, I've had that happen several times. Parents who don't push their kids and help them do that. I believe that Gordon B. Hinckley's dad knew that the biggest roadblocks in life were fear, anger, and depression. If he wanted his son to be happy and fulfilled and experience joy in his life, he was going to push him to stop thinking about himself and start thinking about the people around him. That's why we do this. Now, speaking of that, there are 3 types of people. You are one of 3 people at all times in your life. I'm one of 3 people at all times in my life. Every movie or TV show you've ever watched is filled with characters that are one of 3 different types of people. You've got your hero. You guys are all too young for this. You don't even. You got the villain. I'm gonna hide behind you. And you got the victim. We don't have time for a debate, but for the sake of this activity, debate settled. That's your goat. All right, let's talk about this real quick. You got your victim. Bad things are happening, pain, challenges, everything. Life is chaos. He's not getting what he wants. Life is happening to me. It's not my fault. Blames other people. He's just a bystander in his life. He's just letting it happen around him, making excuses. You got your victim. Then you got somebody, bad things are happening. I'm going through hell. Difficult stuff's coming up. I'm going to harden myself. I'm going to put up walls. And I'm going to take advantage of people or push people around to get what I need. Take care of myself. You got your villain. If you know Rodman's backstory, he had some pretty tough stuff. He put up walls. He shut people out. He was very emotional. And he was also one of the hardest people to play against because he'd just get in your head and tear you down. And then you got somebody who gets beat down. He's going through all the same pain, struggle, and he gets stronger so that he can help everybody around him, make sure that they don't go through the pain they're going through, and he serves those people and elevates those people and wins the championship ultimately. The doorway to being the hero is to serve and elevate. Be the hero of your own story. That's what it's all about. I did this 100-mile run. I've done it 2 times. Tyler Jackson says this thing to me that I like pain. And I was like, what? I don't like pain. What does that say about me? And I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm like, do I like pain? I'm trying to figure this out. Literally, like it kind of like messed with my head a little bit. I was like, he's like, I couldn't figure you out. I just like, what's going on? You just like pain. And I'm thinking about it. I was like, I do like doing hard things. I do like going through difficult things and seeing if I have what it takes. But I love inviting people to come with me. I love sharing that experience with other people. So it's not about the pain. It's about what we can accomplish together, what we can create together, how much we can grow together. And so my first year, I was fully trained. I go out there. I was ready to go. I got in my head a little bit, though, and somebody said, don't take these too many electrolytes. You're going to retain too much water. You won't be. You'll end up hurting yourself that way. So I was like, okay, I'll run the first 20 miles without any electrolytes, without any of these like electrolyte tabs. I'll just get through. So I'm in mile 15. I take this step. I'm running uphill, and my leg seizes. I collapse. I eat dirt. And I'm like, son of a, that's never happened to me. I get up, I keep going, my calf seizes up. My trap seizes up. Everything is like, I'm like dealing with, I'm like full shutdown. My body's like, what's going on? I don't have any electrolytes. I was waiting for after the first 20 miles. I'm like, I painfully make it back to the aid station over the next 5 miles. I get into the tent. I lay down, my heart rate's skyrocketing. I'm like at 150 beats a minute while I'm laying down in this cot. Super dangerous. You can get rhabdo. It's like bad on your kidneys, like your body overheating like that. Very dangerous if you don't get it under control. I'm talking to the nurse and she goes, I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't, she's like, you're dehydrated. You need an IV. And she's like, but if I give you this IV, then you're out of the race. And I'm like, crap, you know, and I've never quit anything in my life, and I start going through it, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's okay. Maybe I'll just come back and do it next year. Maybe people won't care. It'll be all right. And I talk through the whole thing. And then I get this phone call, and it's Hayden Moore. And he's like, where are you at, bro? Like, I saw you got your first 20 miles done. You're probably like mile 30 right now, right? Or something like that. And I'm like, no, man, I think I'm done. I don't think I can finish this thing. I'm freaking out. My heart rate's crazy. I'm cramping up, like I'm writhing in pain. And he's like, screw that. F that, man. I'm going to be there in 15 minutes. Hayden Moore shows up. Runs in there 15 minutes later, packs me full of like electrolytes, helps me get different socks, gets me in a good mood again, makes me eat. You don't feel like eating when you feel like that. So I get out there, and then he runs the next 20 miles with me. Run, stop, just to get my heart rate under control. After that, we get back, my family comes out there, pours love, energy, everything, support into me. It's late at night, my kid shouldn't be up, that baby right there, bald, it's a girl, but, and I run the next 20 miles on my own. Then Josh Holland, who's been checking on me all night, checking with my wife, making sure I'm okay, he shows up, runs 22 miles with me. Josh Holland's a freaking tank of a guy, not a runner. Those nasty feet up there, this is the result. Josh got video of me like getting my feet taped. I'm passing out like for 2 minutes because I'm that exhausted. I ran for a little over 32 hours. Then the final 20 miles, my son shows up. He runs the last 20 miles with me. And we make it through. I was fully trained. I get through it. I didn't finish that race, man. These guys carried me. Fast forward, I go back and do it again the next year. Now, I've shared this story with a bunch of people. I've like, dude, this is what I did. It inspires some people. Some people want to be a part of it. Some people want to go through something hard with me. This is what I'm all about. Spencer Davila drives his whole family out, stays in a hotel, runs 60 miles with me. He's definitely a runner. This was easy for him. I felt bad because he wanted to sprint the whole time. I was like, just look at me. And this race, keep in mind, was 100 degrees. It was the hottest temperature recorded for this race in the last 20 years. I didn't train for it. My longest training run was 13 miles. My longest runs after that was like 2 to 5 miles. So I didn't really train. My wife hates me for that, but I did it anyways. I run the first 60 miles with him. Then Brandon Ewell shows up, runs 40 miles with me. Justin Gosling and Tyler Jackson show up. Justin Gosling hasn't run more than a mile in his life ever, first of all. Tyler Jackson, I don't think he's ever run unless a basketball has been in his hands. You can ask his brother, that's fact. He's got 2 bum ankles. I watched Tyler Jackson roll his ankle like 5 times that night and eat dirt hard. The dude kept going, kept running with me for 20 miles. And in fact, like, he was in so much pain, he couldn't run as fast. And so we'd get to an aid station, I'd collapse, and I'd be like, okay, like, get me water. Everybody be getting me stuff. And Tyler wouldn't stop for water, wouldn't stop for anything. He'd just keep running because he didn't want to slow me down. Pushed himself to get through that. In fact, Tyler and Justin, I think, bought shoes that night, so they had shoes to run in. That's how prepared they were to do this. Chandler Hewitt showed up, and Chris showed up, ran the last 20 miles with me and Brandon. And then my son Nixon ran the last 5 miles with me. In the first race, it took me 32 hours. I ran 40 miles of it by myself. I was perfectly trained, had a minor setback. The second race, I wasn't perfectly trained. I didn't hardly train at all. I didn't take a single step without somebody by my side. And I beat my time by over 4 hours. This is what finishing that race looks like. Now, this is why I do what I do. It's not because I like pain. It's because of this. The crazy thing is, you don't have to do some stupid race to live life like this. You can do this every day. You can empty your tank with the people around you every day. You can overcome adversity with people around you every day. And this is what you get for it. It's priceless. That's why we serve. That's why we elevate. That's why we lock arms with each other and we go to battle every day. We bleed in the streets together. That's what it's about. You fight for the people around you. Now sometimes you do everything you can. You work your heart out. You do it for the right reasons, and still things go against you. That's where our third expectation comes in, our third standard. Here at the Pros, we have a higher standard of faith than anywhere else. The men and women in this room believe deeper than anywhere else I've ever been. We understand that you have to have faith, that you work hard, you do it for the right reasons, and we know that God will help us. Look, I know we're going to sell a lot of solar, but this isn't about solar. I just want to be clear. I'm talking about God right now, and I don't want to get things twisted. This is about living your life, doing the best you can to be the best version of yourself, to help other people to be the best versions of themselves. Let's talk about faith, what that means. Faith isn't believing everything you want will come. That's not what I'm telling you. Faith is trusting the plan that God has for you. The other thing I'm trying to tell you is that faith is integrity. A lot of people want the answer first. They want to be given things up front, and then they'll act. They want the position, and then they'll be the manager. Then they'll be the leader. And then they'll step up. They want things to come to them. They want to be told what to do before they go out and do the right things. Faith is doing the work and trusting that the answer will come, trusting that the result will come. This lesson, I've had several experiences with God where I've experienced God in my life, but one time stands out, and I haven't shared this story. I've shared this story maybe one other time. There's a few people in this room who I think have heard it, but I don't always share it because I think it might change the way some of you look at me. So before I share this story, I want to tell you one thing. The number one thing to me, the number one thing I care about is being a good dad. Nothing else matters. The number one thing I care about and want for you is to be a good father or a good mother or a good spouse. So we're running out of time. I'm going to try and do this story fast. They're giving me notices right now. But everybody knows the story. I got out of sales, lost my house. I think you've heard this. I ended up in a single wide trailer. Couldn't afford hot water, had to give my kids showers, cold showers, all that stuff, like all that sadness, like starting over. Well, part of that, one of the things that was going on during that is I was trying to rebuild myself. And to do that, I was working 2 jobs. At nights, I was working as a prison guard. I know. I'm not a prison guard. I was a terrible I was good at cell extractions, but I like people too much to be a prison guard. But I was a prison guard at night. I'd get off around 5 a.m., take a break, and then I'd go and I'd do, in the beginning I was framing houses, doing construction, backbreaking work. This is what it took to rebuild. I'd lost everything. So one day I get off work at 5 a.m., I go and get my son Chris. He's 3 years old at the time. I'm about 24. Maybe he's 3.5. And then I take him to the house. We eat some breakfast. We hang out, watch some shows. And I've got to get to work now and start framing this house. So I get food out, set it up. And I put on a show, and I tell them, like, hey, if somebody knocks on the door, don't go over there. Just ignore it, stay away. Like, just watch the show, here's some food, I'll be back in like 6 hours. I'm explaining this to a 3-year-old. I realize how that sounds. I get out and I leave. 2 hours later, my phone starts ringing. It rings like 4 or 5 times in a row. I pick up the phone, and somebody comes over and he says, hey, this is officer, this is detective so-and-so. Your son's home alone. Can you get over here? We want to ask you some questions. Right there, like, my heart stops. I'm like, the worst thing that could have happened is happening right now. I jump in my car, I'm about 15 minutes away. That whole drive, all I'm getting are these visions of like being cuffed up and thrown in the back of a car, my son wanting to get to me, them pulling him back and putting him in a car with somewhere else and taking him away. My ex is going to use this against me, try to get full custody or whatever, you know, like my life is over, my son's life, like this is going to ruin everything. And I get there to the house. The neighbor that found him that was like inspired or whatever went over to the house and found him, is mean mugging me, wants me to get arrested, like almost starts yelling at me. I get out of the car, the police officer pulls me over, and what should have happened didn't. God softened his heart towards me. And he pulls me aside and he says, hey, and he starts to lead me through the conversation. You didn't leave him home alone, you left him with somebody, right? Oh, cool, who was that? Okay. And starts guiding me through this, so I come up with this story with him on the spot. And I tell him whatever, and then he's like, okay, cool. CPS needs to talk to you. CPS comes over, they're already at the house. I thought, I'm not out of the woods yet. They asked me my story. And I tell it to them. And they say, okay, hey, I think they know it's fake. But they say, hey, we have a program where you get free childcare for 6 months while you get on your feet. That was not my plan that day. I was going to have my kid be there, be alone. I'd be back. I'd eventually get back on my feet. We'd make it. That was my plan. I was going to work towards that plan. God's plan was bigger than mine. That neighbor found my kid on purpose because God knew I needed help and I couldn't do it by myself, and I was doing everything I could. Now, one more thing, I'll leave you with this. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're doing this year, God loves you and has a plan for you, and that plan is not to fail. That's all I got for you.